On this week's Week in Review, what are we talking about, guys?
Market headline game, the Fed, IMF cuts growth, flipping houses, and the black hole.
All right, stay tuned. Welcome to All About Your Benjamin's weekly mixtape and week in review. I'm Justin Costelli. This is
Leo Costelli.
And this is
Roman Costelli.
And we are back from spring break. Sorry to not have an episode for you last week, but we were in Washington, D.C. Shout out to everybody who showed up to the FinTwit event at Proper 21. It was great to meet a lot of you in person finally after engaging on Twitter for so many years. But we're back and we're ready to kind of get into the headlines. But before we do, Leo, how did you enjoy spring break?
Fun.
It was fun? Well, what was your favorite part?
Playing with my friends and seeing the Washington Monument.
Playing with your friends and seeing the Washington Monument? Sounds good. What about you, Roman? What was your favorite part?
In Washington, D.C., probably seeing Hunter Alexander, our friends. Hunter and Alexander that we haven't seen for like a year.
What about Samuel?
And Samuel.
Don't forget Samuel. Shout out to Samuel as well. All right. Well, let's get to the headlines that may or may not be impacting your financial planning. First up, what are we going to be doing, Roman? What game are we going to play?
Market headlines.
So if you've been watching the last few weeks, I've been highlighting the moodiness of the media when it comes to the market. So let's play it again. I've got my headlines. So the beginning of the week, expected earnings pullback sets up big test for bull market. A little bit of pessimism. Maybe the bull market's going to come to an end. We've got earnings coming up. Maybe there's a little bit of fear out there. End of the week. U.S. stocks close higher as bank earnings provide lift. All is well in the market. Everything is doing good. The market's closed good. So now we have a lot of positive news out there. So 3 weeks in a row, it started out negative, ended on the positive. Maybe next week it's going to be positive and then on the negative, or who knows what it's going to be. But again, the reason I continue to do this is just to remind you that don't let the headlines dictate your decision making too much. These are snapshots and they change from day to day and they really mean nothing to the big overall picture. So now that we've played that game, Roman or Leo, what's our next one? What's the next topic? Is it the Fed?
Yeah.
All right, the Federal Reserve. Not a lot to talk about here, but they did come out with some notes, and the highlight being that they plan to stay the course. There's no evidence right now that suggests they should be making any changes to their plan to keep rates as is for the foreseeable future. So if you remember last year, going into this year, we were looking at rate hikes and then rates going up, and the market didn't really like that, and some of the talking heads out there didn't either. The mood changed. We're going to look at data, and this just continued to show that right now things seem to be on the right path. So they're going to keep rates as is for the foreseeable future, and we may not have any changes for the rest of the year as of right now. What's next?
IMF cuts growth.
So we are international investors at my firm. I preach that I believe in having a globally diversified portfolio. If you watch and listen to this, this is not the first time you've heard it. With that being said, the IMF came out and cut growth for the global economy. I believe it went down from like 3.6 or 3.7 to 3.3%. I just bring this up because they're looking at the global economy. The U.S. is a part of that, but we also know that there's a lot of other countries out there that impact the global economy and the overall markets and growth of our investments. So just having a good idea to know that the forecasted growth has been ratcheted down. What does that mean to the market, to your portfolio, to your investments that are in the international markets? Who knows? But I just think it's good to know what's going on when it comes to the international side, not just the U.S., since that's what we focus on a lot of times. What do we have next, Leo? What do we do about the houses? Flipping houses? Do you know what that means? Do you think it's literally people picking them up and flipping them? No, that's not what it means. So flipping houses, Leo, is when someone buys a house for cheaper, fixes it, and then they flip it and sell it for more money. So it's a way to... Flipping just means you buy and sell real quick. So your only reason you're buying the house is to fix it and sell it, where most people buy it to live in it. So flipping houses is back in the news, and it is at the level that we saw before the crisis back in 2007, 2008. I don't put this out there as a negative or a red flag. Just thought it was an interesting article in the Wall Street Journal this week talking about flipping going on. I view that as a positive for the real estate market. If investors are able to go out there, buy, fix them up, and flip them for a profit, that's good for that type of business, but it's also good that the real estate market is appreciating Nothing in the article, no data suggests anything alarming, and they actually said that it's actually less risky than it was last time around. So I think any good news for the real estate market is good, because most people's greatest asset is their house, and they feel better about their financial situation when their biggest asset is doing well and performing well, and they're seeing home values around them go up. So housing market, that's a positive sign for the time being. And finally, our last thing has nothing to do with the market, nothing to do with your financial plan, but what is it about, Roman?
The black hole.
So we have our first real picture of a black hole. Growing up, I really loved space. I thought for a little while I may have wanted to be an astronaut. What do you guys think about black holes? Are they pretty cool?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know? What do you think, Rome?
Yeah, cool.
What do you think?
Scary.
Scary? I do think it's kind of scary, the fact they can just suck you in. Well, anyways, we have our first real picture of what a black hole looks like.
But what does it look like?
It just looks like basically a black circle with orange around it. And the orange around it is light actually being bent to go into the black hole, because it pulls in light. It's pretty cool. So it's a pretty neat accomplishment. If you look at what technology has allowed us to do, see something that's 55 million light years away and be able to have a picture of it is pretty impressive. So I thought it was pretty cool. Naturally, when you have an event like this, you have people out there that hate on it and say that the picture wasn't clear enough and all this hate. Regardless, if you think about what we were able to do and the accomplishment that these scientists did, is pretty cool. So make sure you click the link in the show notes to see the picture, which I'll show you guys later, of the black hole. It'll be interesting to see what we can see in the future. So that is everything for this week's Week in Review. I also wanted to mention that we're big basketball fans, and obviously on Monday of this week, the national championship, and who won?
Sadly, Auburn lost to Virginia in the semifinals, but Virginia won.
So Virginia won the national championship, and for us it's kind of cool because one of the main players on Virginia, Kyle Guy, is actually from Indiana, and he is actually a graduate of my high school. I'm much older than him. We don't know each other, but still kind of cool to see a local kid do real big on the stage of the national championship in the Final Four. So with that, thank you for watching. Be sure to check the show notes. If you're watching this on YouTube, head on over to All About Your Benjamins. Same if you're listening to this on Sunday morning on your Amazon device. allaboutyourbenjamins.com. Read all the mixtape articles below. See the show notes for these headlines. And thank you for watching. Be sure to share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.